Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of CitySim Builds. In the previous episode, we built this new roadway and this rail line, and we added in connections over here. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out, but I think some of the aesthetics with how the highway is laid out and some stuff over here, I'm going to make some changes to that in the future. But in today's episode, what we're going to be doing is focusing on this area and this area. And in those areas, we're going to be building a farm industry. And what we're going to do is have them be connected. So we're going to have one giant farm industry, but then have some development in the middle. So we'll see how that plays out as we go through today's episode. But before we get into that, I want to make a change over here that was brought out in the comments. And that is, I did not provide like a bypass here for the main rail line so that, it can link up from this side to this side, because right now it's forcing all the traffic to go in this way. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly make that change now. All right, and that is not pretty. We're going to come back to this area in the future, but I think for right now, that's going to be fine. So coming over here to start our farm industry, what we're going to do is go to our industries tab and go over here to where we have the tractor. And as you can see, we have this yellow area here and this yellow area over here. And what I want to do first is go ahead and place a district here for an industry area. All right, and for whatever reason, I'm not really sure why, but the outline of the industry is not showing up, but you can see that we do have this here. So I'm going to leave that in place, and we'll come back to that in the future and see if we can fix that bug. So the next thing I want to do is just create like a little pathway that goes over here, and then I'm going to create the outline for the area that I can build a farm industry in, and hopefully this looks okay. I can't actually see, but I think it'll be fine. Hopefully, if it doesn't create a new farming industry name here, yeah, so I think we're good. So before we build the farming industry, I want to get in a few roads. And what I'm thinking is trying to start off with a circulatory pattern. And the reason for that is because we're going to have a lot of trucks and farm equipment coming in and out of the farm area itself. And I think it would make a lot of sense to have that traffic be in a circular fashion. It'll ease things up traffic-wise on the arterial right here. So let's find a cross section that would work well. And I think for this one, I'm just going to use this basic 2-lane one-way road. Actually, no, let's do the same one but with grass, and that way we don't have parking on the side. So I'm going to come to say about here, and then just build something that goes out like that. Before we finish up the circular road here, I want to get in place a few of the farming buildings. And the first one that we're going to place, which you have to place for anything, is the main building associated with the industry, and that's the farm main building. And for this one, I'm going to place it here on the edge. And when you do that, it unlocks a small grain silo, a small animal pasture, a small crop field, and a small fruit field. And the reason I placed this here on the edge is because most of my main production is going to be focused in on this area where you have like the lighter yellow. So I want to preserve that area for actual farms themselves. And I also want to rename this as well. Let's call this, for the time being, the Canarsie Farming Company. And if you have a better name for this, please leave that down in the comments below. So before we place the farms, I want to place in a road that's approximately here and goes over to about there. And the reason for that is I want to get farms in this area, and then I'm going to bring this road over somewhere in here, wherever the farms kind of end in terms of how many units they take up and how many we can place through here. So I think I'm going to start off doing small crop fields, and I'm going to place, let's see, I think that was 5. And then additionally, I'm going to do 5 small fruit fields. And I made a mistake here, and I'm going to relocate this to right there. So now we just need one more, and there we go. Perfect. The other thing we need to do is run power and water. So I'm going to do that real quickly. All right, excellent. So now that I have this in place, I feel comfortable completing the circulatory road here. So let's go ahead and get that in place. Oh, and I see I made an error here. I have this as being the wrong road type. And really, I might actually use this small industrial road. I think that makes more sense. I don't think we really need a lot of pedestrian activity here. So I'm going to upgrade these roads for that. Excellent. So now I'm going to carry this over just so I can come here and then bring this down this way. And before I forget, this is a one-way road. Okay, so let me go back here and upgrade this section. And I want to keep this section up here 2 lanes because we're going to have a lot of traffic, internal traffic up here in the farm. So the goal is to really provide 1 entrance and 1 exit, and that'll be helpful for future growth. So coming in and looking at this, I'm going to place a few more small fields here. But it looks like we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. So I'm going to try and find 8 units down here. And we're going to place another row of farms and fruit fields. So if we come off here, that should be good. Oh, and I need to go down 1 more actually. So I'm going to keep an eye. So into that node there, I need to come down 1 more. Okay, and I think that's good. So we'll bring that across like that. So I'm going to go back and place a few more of these crop fields, then some of these fruit fields. All right, excellent. So we have the makings now for a lot of production in our farm already. And one of the things that we're going to need is storage. So I'm going to go ahead and place a few of these grain silos. If you go into these, similar to the forestry industry, you can make these balanced, fill, or empty. I'm going to leave these as balanced for the time being, and we'll see how things progress with that. The other thing that you can do is come into these and change it from, like, say, a wheat field to a greenhouse, potatoes, corn, cotton, etc. I'm going to make this one a greenhouse since we have one here, but everything else, I think I'm just going to leave it kind of as is. Then the other thing I'm going to do is extend this road down and have it curve over this way. That way we can get extra access from Canarsie all the way to our farm over here. So something like that, and it's going to sever the power, and that's okay. We can always go back and fix that. Perfect. So as you can see, we're already starting to get lots and lots of truck activity here. So I'm going to speed the game up a little bit and see if we can level up to a level 2. So we're getting there. The main thing we need is workers. And right now we're turning a negative profit, but I think that's going to change here in a little bit. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to provide another entrance and exit point over here. So let's go back to our 2-lane roads and we'll get the one-way segment. We'll find this guideline and we'll connect up somewhere here. And this is kind of a tricky connection. I don't really want to connect up at an angle like that. So what I might do is back this up a little bit and go to about there. And then from here, we'll turn on the curved road tool, maybe. And I'm not liking the way this is connecting up, so I'm going to play around with this a little bit and see if I can get things a little bit better in place. All right, perfect. I think that looks way better. Then over here, you can start to see we're having a lot of traffic, and this is why I wanted to have that circulatory route here. So one of the things I want to do is go into our junctions and turn off the traffic signal right there and put a stop sign. And then we have one off there, and then down here, I think we can leave that one off for right now. Are there any other junctions that I'm missing that we don't really need with the traffic signal? No, I think we're good for right now. Oh, cool. And we just hit level 2. And with level 2, we get things like a flour mill, a bakery, farm workers barracks, a cattle shed, and a small barn. So I'm going to place a few more fruit fields and crop fields. And I'm going to slow the game down a little bit now that we've reached level 2. Perfect. I'm liking the way that's looking. Now let's go back into our roads, look at this one-way industrial road, and we're going to bring it over here, about like that. Then I'm going to back this up for the time being, and then come here, find that guideline, and then come down to about, let's say here. And then from here, we should be able to find this guideline and tie up at a 90-degree angle. And then from here to here, we're going to connect up and provide access like that. So that way, if somebody wants to come in, they can quickly do that circulatory pattern, or they can continue on straight through like that. And this effectively just creates like a stop sign and a stop sign situation, or I guess in our case, it's a yield sign. And I have this gravel road in for the time being, but I might upgrade this here in the future. So some of these other buildings that we just got with level 2, I like to place them on the edges here as much as I can. And we just placed a flour mill, and that's awesome. We're not going to do a cattle shed right now because we don't have any livestock. But one thing we can do is place a small barn. So I'm going to place that. Let's see, I might actually do a second flour mill, and then we'll do a small barn. But yeah, the reason I like to put them on the edge here is because we don't get as much production on this side. So it makes sense to put some of these buildings that don't require production from the earth, basically, the resources there, to have them like be kind of on the periphery of your development. And I'm just kind of tidying up some of the piping through here. Okay, excellent. Let's maybe get some livestock in place. So I'm gonna go and find the small animal pasture, and then we'll place this somewhere right in there. I think it's good. Let's actually take a look at the road. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I thought for a second that I was too close to that side, but we're able to put a road right there, and that'll be fine. And I made a few mistakes there putting the small animal pasture in, but now we can place a few more of these. And I'm gonna stop right there for the time being. And with those in place, we should now be able to put in a cattle shed. So that fits in nicely right there. I like that. So we have all sorts of cattle down here. Pretty cool. And I think these are orange trees. Yeah, nice. But as you can see, this road is definitely like way busier now. So I'm glad I put in this circulatory pattern here. And now that I see this, I think we have an issue or two with our traffic. So go into junctions and turn that off, and then put a stop sign there. And then maybe here we can put a stop sign there, but allow this to be free flow. All right, perfect. That's looking really good. So I could come over here and do a similar thing, and I think I will. So for this, I'm gonna change road types for the moment, and I'm gonna just come across like that at grade, and then kind of the same thing over here. And I'm gonna place it this way and come back and reverse the road. And the way you do that is you go to the upgrade road tool, and then you right click the roadway segments. So that way, if you want to go through straight here, you can. So it creates this larger circulatory system for the farms themselves. So now that we have these in place, I'm going to go ahead and start the network for the farm on this side. So we're going to come up here and meet up like that. Okay, cool. And it looks like we have like an old abandoned farmstead house here, which is kind of fitting. So since we have the money, I'm going to go through and place a few more crop fields. So let's get these in place. And over here, it says I'm not in the industry area, and I think I'm going to leave that be for right now because I want to figure out why I'm having that issue. It's probably just like an error with the game. Sometimes you get little glitches like that, and then the best situation is to save the game and then get out of the game and then come back in. So I'll do that after I finish recording this episode. All right, let's go take a look at our farm overview. So right now we're turning a profit of already over 7,000. That's amazing. And then we're almost at level 3, and we're probably going to reach it here in a second. I think the main hindrance is the number of workers. So that is probably contributed to our residential demand. So I think I'm going to place in a little bit more residential. So maybe what I'll do is come over here, and I'm going to find a similar cross section to this road. Maybe for the time being, since we don't have really many trees over here, I'm going to switch over to this one, which is the 2-lane road with median trees and bicycle lanes. So that way we can continue with our bicycling network. And I'll just continue it over here, roughly. And we'll leave that for right now, but we'll come back to that. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to place a little bit more commercial there, and then I'm going to extend this path down. And I did a gravel road, and that is wrong. Let me go back and fix that. So let's get our favorite zoo path, and we'll come through and add that, and then extend this on like that. That's a pretty long continuous route, and people are definitely using it, which is nice to see. So through here, we can add in a little bit more residential. And one of the things I think we're gonna have now that I put this here, I think is a little bit of an issue with sound. So let's take a look at our sound. Cool, we just hit level 3. So now we get some specialty factories, like a lemonade factory. We also get a milking parlor, a medium crop field, and a medium fruit field. Excellent, so I'm gonna place some of those here in a second. But for whatever reason, the areas are not showing up right now. But I know these areas produce a lot of noise. So what I'm gonna do is place commercial along the side here and then line it with trees on this side. So that way people will be happier with the differences in uses here, with the forestry industry over here, then coming back to residential. So for this, I'm going to use the marquee tool. So we'll come here and we'll place a 3-unit deep swath of commercial. And then we're gonna go here and place more residential. And I'm gonna reserve this area over here. And what I'm thinking for this area is a university campus. So the farm is really only gonna extend like kind of like, this is gonna be the border roughly. And then, so everything through here is gonna be part of the university campus. And so here it's saying not enough workers. So let's take a look at our education system. So elementary school, we're doing fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and place another elementary school right there. High schools, we're doing fine, but I think I am also gonna place another high school somewhere over here. And then university coverage, we're doing great. And then public libraries, zoom out. We have pretty good coverage. We have this part of town, the older part of town. Then we have this part of town and this one. I might place one over here. We'll do that next to the high school and we'll stop it there and we'll put it there just to break up the grid a little bit. And so hopefully that will help with our education issues. In the time being, what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more residential through here. And then now I'm gonna zone commercial and residential just like similar to what we did over here. And I'm gonna put some commercial, I think, right here as well. And maybe like a couple spots for corner stores right here. Then the rest of this can be residential. Oh, and I did not mean to do high density. So let's get that out of the way and then we'll place low density. Okay, perfect. And then let's get our zoo path in place here. We're having buildings pop up and I wasn't ready for that. I should not have zoned it for that just yet, but that's okay. Not a big deal. So let's get water through here. All right, excellent. So let's come back to our farm. So we're at a level 3, and we're almost at a level 4. So let's take a look at the additional things that we got. We have a medium crop field, and I really want to place some of those. So what I'm going to do is come over here and place a road that goes behind the cow pastures that are right here, and then start placing some medium crop fields. So we'll do 2 of those, and then we'll do 2 of the fruit fields. And it looks like we can fit one more in, and I'm gonna do one more crop field. Perfect. So let's get water through here. Then additionally, what we have is a milking parlor. So I'm gonna place some of these here. Let's do 2 of those. And then I think we got a unique factory, and that's the bakery. And then for the bakery, what I'm thinking is, let's just build a road right here real quick. And I'm gonna make sure the industrial area comes over this way, even though I can't see it. But I'm gonna place the bakery right here. And I might do this kind of more in the middle, maybe like something like that. And we need to fix our power situation. So what I'm gonna do for this, I think, is just connect this up to here. Oh cool, we just set level 4. So now we have a clothing factory, a farm maintenance building, a large barn, and a slaughterhouse. So I'm gonna connect that up to there, and then I think things should be good to go. So here it says we don't have enough special goods, and the thing that we're missing is flour. So for that, I'm gonna place a few more flour mills, and I'm gonna do that along here, and then maybe we'll have a couple, or maybe one more that just loads on to this road. So now that we have that, and we need flour, I'm gonna place a few more fields. So I'm trying to see where this loads. So it's right there. I'm gonna place this temporarily, and I'm probably gonna relocate it because I want to get this road back here lined up like that. And then now I'm gonna relocate this so it loads from this road, which is called, I guess, Cook Drive. And I'm gonna set this to be wheat. And I'm gonna go through and create a bunch more wheat fields here. No way, did they all just like magically become wheat? That's awesome. Excellent. I was thinking I was gonna have to go through and select them all and change them, but I will take that. So I think this power line here is redundant, so let's get rid of that. And things over here are looking pretty good. So we're almost at a level 5, and I think the main hindrance for us getting to level 5 is gonna be workers. And I'm not happy with this location, so I'm gonna move this over a little bit, maybe right there, and then that way I can continue a road this way. So we'll just come out an arbitrary amount like that. This says not enough raw materials, so let's take a look at our flour production. This says we don't have enough crops, so let's add in a few more crop fields. Maybe what we can do is place them over here on this side. Whew, and we're just able to barely squeeze in one right there. All right, so while this continues, I'm gonna build a little bit more residential. And I think what I might do is extend some of the high density usage over here to kind of come over this way. So let's go into our zoning, and then we'll take a look at these 4 blocks, and then we'll rezone these as high density residential. Then while we're here, let's go ahead and take care of this one. And honestly, I might do these 3 as well. Again, I wish the game did a better job of rezoning instead of having to like basically demolish people's houses like that. I wish you could take a residential building and zone it commercial, or have it like automatically upgrade into a high density residential. We have reached our production goal, and I think the main thing that we need is workers. So I have to focus in on getting a few more workers to help get this to a level 5. And while we wait, I want to take a look at some of our city services just to make sure we're doing okay. So healthcare is great. Death care is good. Childcare is pretty good. We could probably use another child healthcare center. Let's place one maybe over here next to where the hospital is. Then our elder care is okay. We could stand to have another elder care facility. We'll place one right there. Fire coverage could be better. So I'm gonna place one of these high capacity fire stations, and I wanna get this in a spot that is kind of central to a lot of things. So I'm gonna place it along here. And everybody's happy. Look at that wave of happiness. Excellent. So I think over here I'm gonna place one small kind of more local fire station, and that'll help us out. And then over here, let's place another fire station. We can place it inside the actual farming area. So that's gonna help us out a lot over here. All right, we got about 40 people or so to go until we reach level 5. Excellent. So police coverage looks good. We could stand to modify our transit, but I think I'm gonna save that for another future episode. Then let's take a look at our parks. So we don't have any parks really over here. So I think I'm gonna place a dog park right about there, and that's gonna make everybody happy. I like that. And then I'm gonna wait for parks over here because I'm probably gonna incorporate some park facilities with the university. But what I could do is add another park maybe somewhere along in here. Maybe we'll do one of these small Japanese gardens and put that right there. Excellent. Perfect. I'm liking that. And I might add a little bit more high density residential. Let's see if we have any pockets that make sense. I think this is a spot that makes sense to have that. So let's rezone this. Oh, and I just did the wrong thing. So let's make sure that's okay. Then we'll put in high density residential. Then we could probably do these 2 blocks right here, because we do have a lot of transit through here with our bus routes and our trams. I did mention earlier I wanted to add in some trees along this corridor, and I'm going to go ahead and place those now. So I'm definitely going to place a few of my favorites, the live oaks. I'm going to probably line the edge here with them. Yeah, and we're going to run into the issue here with the factory with some of the trees being kind of decayed looking. Or maybe they're just small. JK, maybe they're just small. Oh, awesome. We just hit level 5. Excellent. So with this, you get a large grain silo, a large animal pasture, a food factory, a large crop field, and a large fruit field. And just to get an idea of the size of those, let's place a couple. So I'm going to slow the game down a little bit. So here's our large crop field. We'll place that there. Let's do 2. Why not? And then we have our large fruit field. We'll do maybe 3 of these. So basically these take up, I think, twice the area as a medium. And then these are roughly double the size of a medium. Or actually, I think they are the double the size of a medium. Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. My goal was to get to a level 5 with the farming industry, and we definitely did that. We're turning a profit now of just over $7,000, which is really great, and we could do more with this in the future, especially as it comes to utilizing some of these additional factories. But we're not going to do that right now. We need a few more industries in place before we can do that. So in the next episode, I'm hoping I can get to Capital City, and the other thing I want to do is build a university campus right here. So those are going to be my goals for the next episode, or possibly 2 episodes. So what I'm thinking is I might do the university in 1 episode, And then the other, I might focus in on getting to Capital City and then upgrading some things like transit and our tram network and things like that. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's episode, please think about subscribing. That would really, really help me out. Also, leave a comment down below what you think of the farm industry. I think it turned out really, really well. And it's cool that we have room for expansion over here, and it's kind of split into two. I think that's kind of a cool feature. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button as well. That also really, really helps me out. So hope y'all are doing well, and we'll see you back in the next episode here in Karnar Sea. And until then, have a good one, and we'll see you then. All right, bye.